So, a couple of things. You were behaving very well with our rules of engagement, so congratulations on that. Thank you for that. I have two little things. One is we are competing with what, according to a Western Dane, is mild weather. I look out there and I see some pretty serious waves and some pretty serious wind back there, so you probably heard some wind whistling. So if you could speak up, please use your loudest playground outside voice in the groups. That would really help. And second is you've been doing a great job, what we call it in the transitioning, going through that little tube. But please help us keep on time so we can help you make sure that you're having the best experience possible. So those are just the two things. So thank you very much for that. We have a session, then we have lunch. And then after lunch, just to tell you, we're going to start at 1 o'clock sharp. Okay? So I just want to let you know that we will kick off with lunch. We have some ministers, a really interesting discussion there, going back into some systems work. And then we have 3 fantastic speakers towards the end of the day. The 1880s was an amazing period in time. This was when the Eiffel Tower was, but this was the age of steam. You know, this is, if you look back in history, it was also, not always perfect. Imperial expansion was taking place, and which was one of the reasons why we have a couple of canals. Jules Verne, in 1870, published The 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And I'm sure, hope all of us have read that at one point. Here in Denmark, the turreted ironclad Gorm was published, which was a big event. The Franco-Prussian War was going on. Rockefeller, a name we all know, created his first, if you will, his first station, and he started selling kerosene. And the grocery bag making machine was invented around that time. And it was the same time that the Suez Canal construction started, at that period in time. Right? It was a very interesting moment. It took 10 years to build, 193 kilometers, no locks, it's free-flowing. And we're very, very honored and pleased to have the gentleman who is responsible for that here today, and I'll introduce him in just a second. The Panama Canal got started about 10 years later. It was at the same time that Rodin, the sculptor, completed The Thinker. That one who does that. Tchaikovsky did the 1812 Overture to celebrate the Russians' victory. And Krakatoa, a few years later, went crazy. The largest fuel volcano explosion spewing ash into the sky. So that period in time was quite fascinating, and those were just a few things that are sort of in my radar. So we have 2 gentlemen who, for all of our research we could find, haven't been on stage before, despite lots of tries. They represent, as you know, the entire maritime pathway, the superhighway, which everyone in this room uses. Or I'm assuming most of you do. And it's quite an honor for us at the Danish Maritime Forum to have them on stage together. Jorge Quijano was an engineer, process engineer to begin. He's a Panamanian, born, bred, proud. He was designated to manage the expansion of the Panama Canal. He's going to share with us some of those insights in just a minute. And he still is a native of Panama City. He is the Chief Executive Officer. Could we please welcome Jorge Quijano to the stage? Great to have you.
Hey, glad to have you.
And Ben, all right. If you take right there in the middle. Second, in no way in any kind of order, Vice Admiral Mohab Mameesh. He has been a military officer. Wait just a second. I know, just a minute. He has been a naval officer extraordinaire, highly decorated for his action and work, and his passion for the maritime industry is truly second to none. And it is a great honor to have Vice Admiral and Chairman of the Suez Canal Authority to join us on the stage. Thank you. It's a pleasure. So, gentlemen, you guys sit here, and I'm going to go on the far end. That way, you guys are the highlight, and I'm not. That's the key here. Thank you. So I'm going to come over. And there's some water if you would like some water. All right, here we go. So, welcome. It's great to have you. So you both have undergone some expansion.
That's
One
correct.
project's completed, the other's getting close. Could you share some of the big news with those projects?
Yes, we have a new Suez Canal renamed in Egypt. This new Suez Canal, about 35 kilometers dry digging and 37 kilometers dredging in the water. We have some problems in the Suez Canal. We have small capacity for receiving the huge ships. We have the capabilities to receive only 8 ships per day, because the waiting area is not deep. We can receive only 8 ships per day, and if we have any trouble in the Suez Canal, ground ship or something like that, we have to stop all the Suez Canal because we have only one leg. We have to stop the ships inside the Suez Canal to 11 hours because we have system of convoys, 3 convoys per day, 2 from north and one from south. Stop the ships inside the Suez Canal for 11 hours. It is very bad for the owner of the ships because we cost them too much money because they have to pay to the crew, to the ship,
Sure.
to the rent of the ship, to the oil, everything. We thought we have to improve our marine service, to improve our system in the transit. We have to have another track for emergency. If we have any ground ship in the Suez Canal, we have to turn the navigation to the another canal, and we have to decrease the hours.
Sure.
Yes,
Yep.
in the stops in the Suez Canal. Now maybe they arrive to zero.
Yeah.
0 hours in stops. We have to make the navigation faster, and we have to be ready for the new generation of the shipbuilding.
Yep.
Now we are 66 feet. We was about 45 feet. And the Suez Canal now available to receive for all ships, all big ships. We have a long vision for the future, because if we still as we are, after 10 years, we will be in a very bad condition. We have to think from now for 10 years after, and we had a challenge because we planned to build this new Suez Canal in 3 years, and we had to take some money from our income every month to pay for the new canal. But when we were in the presentation in the beginning, our President Sisi, when I offered him that we will do it in 36 months, 3 years, he said to me, no, 1 year only. Okay? And he asked the Egyptian people to fund the project. The Egyptian people funded the project in 8 days. They collect $8.2 billion for the project.
It's incredible.
And we recalculate our plan for the dredging and for the dry digging, and we have a very good and accurate plan for the project. All we cheered all the young people in the project. And the spirit of the people was very high. The national spirit was very high, and we finished before 1 year, 11 days before 1 year.
Well, it's an incredible achievement.
Thank you.
And it's clear that you're very proud of it, and you should be.
Thank you.
And I think for all of us in the room to have that completed in 1 year rather than 3, that was really quite an achievement. So it's really fantastic. So you mentioned one thing, which was, the Egyptian people got behind the project, and it is in many ways a choke point. In both of your canals, in some ways, could be choke points. So as a priority for the country to keep it open for safe passage, this is something that these people in the room, these ladies and gentlemen, can sort of count on. That's going to be there for us now for the next 50 years. Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Just want to check to make sure.
Because I want to say for safety, in Egypt we had a very bad time.
Yeah.
Very difficult time. We have 2 revolutions. The first revolution was in 2011, 25 of January, and second was 30 of June in 2013.
Yep.
And we had a very hard time, especially in Sinai.
Yes.
Very near to the transit.
Yep.
But the navigation, the Suez Canal didn't stop for one moment.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, again, we appreciate
because we kept it very safe for all the nations, for all the ships. We did our best with the armed force and the naval force and the air force to keep it very safe. And till now, we keep it very safe.
Well, that's fantastic.
And also, we achieved the maximum income in the history during the most difficult times in Egypt.
Which is an achievement in itself, again, on top of that, which all of us like to hear, that maximum income, unless you're an operator and you're paying too high fees. But I don't know about that. That's another one.
It's more tonnage.
It's more tonnage. Okay, we're going to go with the more tonnage. So now, if we come on to the other side of the world, you have also been undergoing an expansion.
That's correct. I think both Admiral Mameesh and myself, we both have had the same problem. It's a capacity issue. It's a reliability issue, and we identified this, back in the late '90s, and said, we're going to reach capacity anytime soon. Of course, looking at projections like we were having before 2008, we would have reached capacity sooner.
Yes.
So we decided, and just like his people approved the bond that he issued, bought the bond, we in Panama went through a similar process to get support from the people. We went through a national referendum, which is also complicated, because now everybody has a vote in the country whether they know how a canal operates or not. So it was very difficult for us to go out and explain to everyone why we needed to spend so much money in expanding the canal. And it's a good thing that we started then, and we're just about finishing. We're 95% done. Yeah. It hasn't been as easy as it was for Admiral Mameesh. Of course, it's a different conditions, different geology, even different length as well, even though similar situation. But we're looking at next year, thereabouts April, we should be online. We moved towards this expansion because also the trade patterns changed. Of course, China became a very important factor for us. And of course, container shipping became the #1 customer of the canal in 2002, when it was mainly a bulker canal, liquid bulk and dry bulk. So now it's really the main business. And so the ships, which were Panamaxes up to 1995, 96, when they started building post-Panamaxes, cost us to go ahead and look at a post-Panamax vessel. Yep. And so now we will be able to handle up to about 14,000 TEU vessel. Not at the very beginning, because we want to make sure we transition into it slowly. We need our pilots to get the swing of it with the smaller vessels, anywhere up to 12,000 TEUs, and then we'll move on I'm sure, to the next generation.
And it's the same for you as well, from the size?
Well, he can handle bigger sizes.
That's my ignorance. I know, it's okay.
We arrived now to 20,000 container ship,
Yep.
and maybe more.
Okay.
We are ready.
At 20,000. So you're at, what did you say?
I can go up to 14,000.
Okay, up to 14. Okay.
yeah,
And any
and-
plans to get up to 20?
Not immediately. not
Just checking,
immediately.
you know.
You know, everybody asks, you know, why would you go only to a 14,000 TEU vessel? When we went into this, let's call it adventure at one point in time, we had identified that most likely it would be like a 12,600 TEU vessel that would be built. And remember, when we started this, that vessel wasn't even being built. However, as time went by, you know, bigger ships began to be built. And we, right now, even with those that are under construction, by 2018, we will still be able to handle the fleet of about 97% of the container fleet can actually fit in the expanded Panama Canal. So it's, in every business, you get to a point of diminishing returns.
Sure.
I mean, you know, unless you are, you know,
Yeah.
a big country like United States or, you know, somebody else, they can cough up the money and leave it there not working at all. But we had to, you know, we are paying for this
Sure.
ourselves. So we had to make a choice, and we made a choice that 97% of the fleet could go through there, of the container fleet. That would be good enough for us.
Okay. By 2050, do you think you'll be up to 20,000?
That can happen.
You
I mean,
never know. You
we
could-
actually designed the locks, the new locks, so that you can build right next to it a larger lock.
Okay.
Okay, so it was part of the design criteria.
You are thinking ahead.
So we
that-
were thinking
yeah.
about that. But there are other things that we can do between now and then to handle more tonnage as well.
Okay. So you have been, both of you have been in a way part of that superhighway. And I think if you look at your current plans at the both ends of the canals, you, I believe, are also having some evolution in maybe not necessarily your business plan, but turning from a highway to a hub. So can you tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are about that?
We and I'll pass it on to him in just a second. You know, we've looked at, Panama has been a hub for a while now, being in the center of Latin America and growing economies of Latin America, of course, and Central America and the U.S. We became a hub for distribution, and today, you know, we have 33 weekly services of container vessels going through the canal. 80% of them stop at the ports on either side to distribute cargo to Latin America. I mean, we also have 39 feeder services on, you know, both sides of the canal. So we are already a natural hub for our region, and we expect to further grow. And we are also, the Panama Canal is now looking into a diversification opportunities, and therefore we're venturing into concessions with Ro-Ro ports, a possible container terminal, a logistic park, like a free zone as well, in some of the areas that have been reclaimed because of the expansion.
Got it. And you, sir?
Yes. In Egypt now we start a mega project around the Suez Canal area because we have a perfect location. We'll try to transfer Egypt to be a hub for logistic and a hub for industrial. We have 6 ports in this area, 3 in the north, East Port Said, West Port Said, El Arish Port in the south. We have El Ain Sokhna Port, Adabia Port, Tur Port, and there is 2 industrial areas between them and the Suez Canal Authority. We try to put all these ports in a model for industrial, because we have backyards. We try now to build a new container terminals in East Port Said, a new terminal in Sokhna, and every day we have maybe more than 50 ships crossing the Suez Canal. we have to have the culture of the add value,
Yep.
and we have to build the area with a very good infrastructure, in a very good laws, investment
Yep.
laws for the investors, to make the investors come to invest in this area. We start building the infrastructure. We have the master plan for the whole
That whole
project.
That whole, yep.
Yes, for the whole project. We have a very good chance because now we are at trade with about 100% from the container ship in the world.
Yep.
About 100% from the cargo ships in the Suez Canal. We have a very good chance to trade with the new generation of the container ship. We start working very hard. We start working to remove all the obstacles in the past.
Yes.
Yes. And we are studying the investment in the area. We invite all the investors to come and to cheer us. And we have here from Denmark, many companies wants to come to invest in the area, especially in East Foresight, the new container terminal. We have Maersk there, but we will add some container terminal. In Ain Sokhna, we have Dubai World in Ain Sokhna, but we will have another container terminal.
Okay.
Egypt grows.
Egypt's open for business, is sort of what you're saying. Is
Yes,
that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have a leader now in Egypt.
Yes.
He's very reasonable and wisdom man. He wanted to let Egypt be again the leader of the area.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And we all hope for all of our sakes and your sake that you're successful with that. But let me ask you both a question now. Here you have a group of amazing individuals and this entire system. What, for our collective success, would you ask of them? Well, because I'm sure they're asking of you that safe passage, that ever-increasing capacity, sort of the guarantees that they can have to reduce their risk, which they take into account every day. What would you like to know from them so you can have sort of a strong future for the canals?
Well, of course, information is very important to canals, and information about plans, future plans of alliance, for example. Are they going to consolidate further? More alliances, less alliances? Are they going to change their networks, or what other networks are they looking at? Are they going to build? I mean, for my sake, maybe not for Mr. Mameesh here, but for our sake here in Panama, how bigger the ships are going to actually get. People talk already about the 20,000 TEU, and then there are, of course, the 22, and people talk about 25,000 TEUs. I don't know whether it's going to go the route of the ULCCs, where, all of a sudden, they stopped and became VLCCs again, Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that some of that actually happens.
So filter to you.
Yeah. But, what's that point where, you cannot further expand?
Yeah.
Because that would give us a better future outlook of how far is this going to take us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and since we're diversifying, not just, a canal transit, and there's a synergy between port activity in Panama and the canal. 80% that goes through canal stops at the ports. So
80%.
80% of container traffic of the Panama Canal.
Interesting.
Actually makes a stop either on the Pacific or Atlantic side of the isthmus. So to us, it is very important. And it's all transshipment. We're doing Panama. We're doing 7 million TEUs a year of transshipment. So that's something that has been growing over time, and we expect it to further grow with our expansion.
So, Admiral Mameesh, anything?
I asked them to come and use the Suez Canal.
Fair enough.
Yes.
And
to invest in our new project, in our mega project in the area. And they want to say them, you will be very safe. Okay? You are our friend. our brother, our partners, and we will do our best to make you feel safe as the previous time. And I think the Suez Canal, it's not for Egypt only. It is for all the world. And we cannot make any difference between the country. Okay? All of them are our friends, all of them our brothers. You have to come and use the Suez Canal and the new Suez Canal. Okay.
That's really fantastic. Gentlemen, is there any final word? That was a wonderful thing to end on, but I promised you both an opportunity to have any final thoughts to share. There's a wonderful one. Do you have anything you'd like to?
Well, you know, we just closed our fiscal year. We closed a very good year.
Yeah.
Where, you know, everybody asked me.
So rates are going up or down?
No, the rates are already being published. You know, one thing that Admiral Mameesh doesn't have to do is they don't have to go through a public hearing like the Panama Canal does. So that's an advantage they have. But we found a way of working with our customers well and give ourselves time to do this. We haven't increased tolls on the container trade since 2012 because we measure what our competitive edge is, and you know we strive in giving the best service possible. But we just closed the year with 300 and almost 40 million tons going through our canal. Nothing compared to what they can handle over there, but for us that's a major increase from 2012, which was the previous maximum tonnage, which was 333.7. So even in a year where, you know, the U.S. hasn't really expanded much, growth has been a little bit low, and Europe has not kicked in either. We have actually been able to get more tonnage through the canal, and we see the future turning differently for us, because at one point in time we were concentrated. Well, it's only going to be mostly containers, and of course all of the other cargo. We have the diversified market, just like the Suez Canal does. We handle all the segments, but there's a new segment which we have never handled before, which is LNG, and that has now cropped up in the last few years. And for the first time next year, we'll be having that first shipment of LNG cargo going to Asia. We have a high demand. We get visits almost on a weekly basis from possible customers in Japan and Korea, Taiwan, and China. So I think the canal will be there for you, but we will continue to expand as we have done now. So rest assured that we are always working with our customers to ensure that, you know, it's not just the transit, but we are also very concerned about having a capacity for stopping at Panama, because it's we think that the Panama is not just the canal; it's the whole hub.
It's the hub,
and that's
for the
important.
region.
That's important to our customers.
With that,
yes, I want to say to them that the Suez Canal from now ready to receive all the kind of ships and all size of ships. And I have to send to you the best regard and best wishes from the Egyptian people and from the Egyptian president. And Egypt, you will see Egypt after maybe 4 years. The people whom they build a Suez Canal or new Suez Canal in 1 year, they can do anything. And we succeed. We insist to succeed, and we succeed, inshallah.
that's really wonderful. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for us to move over to lunch. It's right behind you. And before we do that, I would like to thank both of you. As we've heard, the canals are open, the highways and the rest stops, the hubs,
That's right.
are there for business. And it is truly, again, an honor for us to have you here with us. So let us thank
Thank you.
our guests. And